when you're diagnosed with cancer in general, you go through all the emotions, like I'm going to die and what's going to happen to me, like what happens if I die, all of the things, especially because no doctor besides Dr. Patterson would tell me that I wasn't going to die.
How do you use medical marijuana to help with that side of it? Do you look for recovery or anything like that?
So I still use CBD, and I'll say that to the day I die. I smoked flower at the time, and it would allow me to have tough conversations that I didn't want to have.
Join us for our second part of our talk with a cancer survivor and bodybuilder who shares how she beat cancer and stays fit. And you're a natural redhead, right?
Yes.
So
well, I used to be. Now this is kind of the color of my hair, but
so that's
a lot of red undertones.
We did a previous episode on that, and there's an actual a genetic predisposition with people with redheads. It's called the melanocortin gene, where you tend to have higher tolerances. You probably have a higher pain tolerance than most people.
Yeah.
Cannabis is one.
Yep.
Certain medications probably don't work as well.
Yep.
All of that. So you're an expensive date.
Yeah, I know. My pain my tolerance for marijuana in general was pretty high. Like once I got on the stress smoking train for quite some time, like a couple hits wasn't doing me anything. And, the gummies did nothing for me but taste good. Like I was like, these taste so good. But after I did all my research with the cancer, I went vegan. And I don't know if you know this too, but when you're vegan, your tolerance is higher too, because you've absorbed so much like plant protein, or I don't know the word I want to use, but it's that way with caffeine too. It takes 3 times as much caffeine for me to feel it as it would for you not to feel it. Which is why I just quit drinking caffeine in general, because I don't want to drink that much caffeine.
That was probably a lot of caffeine.
It was a lot.
Get up in the morning. Well, and I know too, when it comes to like a vegan diet, right? Like there's specific terpenes in certain herbs and fruits, especially. So those can play, especially when you're. Yeah, it's mango, right? So anybody who doesn't know, mango has myrcene. Myrcene will intensify your psychotropic effects.
Yeah.
So
like mango tincture.
Yeah. Or if you eat a mango with your tincture, your edible,
yes,
stand by because you're going to feel it.
I actually did that trick I saw online once where you eat the mango and then you smoke and then you eat another piece of mango and it's supposed to intensify your high. It works. Just so you know it works.
Yeah. So if the mangoes are all out and Publix is all around, you know why? Because
for sure
we were having a day or a week. So it really helped with. So what would you say the most benefit that you got from cannabis in that journey, right? Like between the edibles and the smoking.
Yeah.
What would you say that it helped you with for the most part?
My mental state. I got to be honest. Like when you're diagnosed with cancer in general, you go through all the emotions. Like I'm going to die and what's going to happen to me? Like what happens if I die? Like all of the things, especially because no doctor besides Dr. Patterson would tell me that I wasn't going to die. Mm-hmm. Like nobody told me. They would tell me how rare it is and how scary it is and how this and this and this, but they weren't like, hey, you're not going to die.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Like somebody tell me that. But so I was on an emotional roller coaster for a while and I was trying to hide it. Like I'm not a huge emotional person, but the older I get, the more emotional I seem to be. I tend to be a little more vulnerable now, which is fine. Like it's giving me a little bit of a softer side, which is fine. I probably needed it. But it put me like my boyfriend and I would sit on the patio and I would smoke on the patio. I would smoke flower at the time, and it would allow me to have tough conversations that I didn't want to have. Like, asking him, like, what happens if I can't work? Mm-hmm. What happens if I die? Like, what's going to happen if this or this or this or A, B, and C? And I would just emotion, I would cry and I would be with him, and it was like my dog's sitting on my lap and I'm like in tears, like, it just.
Well, I'm glad that you said that because, because you use cannabis for so many different things, mm-hmm. right? And there are some, cancer fighting properties of cannabis and cannabinoids. But a lot of people do come in here for PTSD related symptoms, like anxiety, stress, a cancer diagnosis. Mm-hmm. That's enough to give anybody PTSD.
Yeah, for sure. So,
and I'm so glad that you're talking about that side of that because you can use it for so many different ways. And that is another great thing that it kind of helped you do is mentally kind of get through this. Cause something that I really believe in, you and I know each other well, and, being a holistic minded person, mindset is critical. I think mindset's critical.
Sure.
Anything you go into, if you don't have a great mindset, you're going to have a tougher time.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm so glad that it helped kind of get
Yeah.
you there. So they take it out, right? So they're able to take it out. Where is it at today? What's your condition today? Like
I've been cancer free since she took it out. Wow. I also did my research. Like I went vegan, and I follow Chris Beat Cancer on Facebook because I joined a bunch of Facebook groups because I didn't know where to start, like on my research journey. And a friend of mine who's a doctor, who's not a cancer doctor, she's just a regular doctor who happens to be my best friend. And she said, just join. They have a million Facebook groups, like their support groups, like just join one. So I joined a triple negative Facebook cancer group. And the first lady that was on there, I don't even remember her name, she sent me a link. Nobody said hi. Nobody said, hey, like what's going on? They just sent me a link, and it was to the Square One program from Chris Beat Cancer, and it changed my whole life. Like it's emotional. Like it changed my whole life. I followed his juicing protocol. I followed his, eat the big salad and juice 64 ounces of carrot juice a day. Like my palms were orange. My elbows were orange. I looked crazy. I looked like I had just left a show. It's like, I don't ever have to tan again. And it worked. Like it made me feel better. It made me like I was more nervous about not having protein, the bodybuilder mindset. Like what happens if I don't have enough protein? I'm going to lose my muscle. I didn't lose any muscle. And I did another show.
Wow.
I purposely jumped right back into a prep. As soon as they took it out and I was cured to lift, I jumped right back into a show because you may not know me that well, but I have to keep my mind busy. I have to keep my body busy, or I think about too much stuff. So I just had the same coach at the time, which was not the coach I started with, which is not the coach I have now. I jumped right back into a show, and I swore to myself that I was going to do it vegan, and I did.
That's amazing.
And I looked great.
So you're still bodybuilding today?
I am.
That's awesome.
I still lift every morning.
How do you use medical marijuana to help with that side of it? Like for recovery or anything like that? Like how does it?
So I still use CBD, and I'll say that to the day I die, I promise. Like I never used it until I met Nick. He brought me in here when he first started doing this CBD, when he started selling it here, and he gave me a bottle of it. He didn't make me pay for it. He just gave it to me, and he said, I want you to do me a favor. Take this at night before you go to bed. And me being the bodybuilder, I can't take that. It's oil. Like it's oil. I can't drink fats before I go to bed. I'm on no fats. Like I'm ready for a show. And my coach at the time was like, it's not oil. Like just take the CBD. I was like, oh, okay. And I would notice a difference. Like I would wake up not as sore. I would wake up feeling a little bit better. But yet again, my body got used to it. So my metabolism would speed up, and I was like, 1 drop isn't enough. And then I would move to 2 drops. And then I was feeling like I was having too much of it. So then I noticed that if I would smoke too much, I could take some CBD oil and it would bring me down a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like I should totally use this. But what helped me most of all was tincture. Okay. Like I would, I don't know if you guys try it, but they make flavors of it, and you can put it in your coffee. And you can drink it throughout the day, and it doesn't smell, but it does give you this like oily look to the top of your coffee, so don't freak out. And I still do that to this day. Like it's almost like a microdose. Like it's great. Yeah. It's really good, and it doesn't make me feel high. It doesn't make me feel like I smoke too much or, not enough. It just gives me that little bit of relaxation that keeps me a little bit more mellow. Yeah. Throughout the day. So
in today's world, I think that's necessary.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So, have you, as an athlete, right? Have you experienced any stigmas or anything like that because you use medical marijuana, or is that not something you have?
No, prior to this year, obviously I was trying to get a new job, so I didn't smoke at the beginning of the year to probably the end of June, and now I'm moving back towards it to sleep at night. I used to have to be completely out of my mind before I walked into the gym. I would sit in my car and I would hit that pen until my eyes were closed. Because the muscle mind connection that you get when you go into the gym and work out is unbelievable. And if somebody would be like, oh my God, I can't work out high, it's because you ain't tried it. Try it. It's amazing. Like the mind-muscle connection that you get from it is unlike anything you're ever going to feel in your life. It's amazing. You're like, holy crap, that's not even that much weight. Oh, my God, I totally feel that. Especially on leg day, forget about it.
Now, are you doing sativas or indicas when you do?
Sativas.
Sativas, okay. Kind of stimulate you, get you.
Sometimes towards the middle of last year, I had to have a hybrid because the sativa was not enough for me. Like I just wasn't feeling how I felt when I would have a hybrid. So I was more of a hybrid girl for quite some time and then an indica person towards the evening. For the most part now, since I took a little hiatus from Christmas to, I want to say January to June, now sativa and either hybrid or indica.
Nice.
But the gummies, they make vegan gummies. And if you've never tried one, they're really good. And I feel like they're stronger.